Hey, happy Saturday, everybody. Good weekend to you all. Nice to have those of you who are here. Um, Let me just kind of get a quick list and see who is here. I see a few names here. I've got James Dundas Junction. You got a big trip coming up, so you should be in bed soon, I think. You guys are driving to whatever falls, Smith Falls, something like that, where you guys are having a big one. It's about a 9-hour drive without, well, 8.5-hour drive without breaks, but there would be breaks for Joyce and me. It would be cool to go meet some of, especially you Canadian folks, because I haven't met any of you. I've only met a few American YouTubers, not even many, a couple. So Andy, the hot dog pilot, hello to you. And to Rick from Rick's Trains, hello to you. I saw a couple of other, let's see, the Closet Branch was here. I saw Rabel Bell was here earlier. Steve PSAP 87th was here, 87th PSAP, I should say. And says we got about 7 watching in the background. So welcome to you all. This is an abbreviated version of Wacky Weekend. So I'll just call it Silly Saturday. We call it Wacky Weekend because it's Sunday for Artie. It's Saturday night for me. And when it's Wacky Weekend, I'm there. I'm Artie's sidekick to be the comedic relief. Artie tries to, Artie loves the banter, but he tries to be, he has things to do. And anybody who knows me knows I'm never working on my layout. So I don't have anything to offer anybody. Hello, Martin O'Keefe. Welcome in. So it's a 5-hour drive for you, which means then it's about a 4-hour drive from where we are to you in Toledo. It's about less than an hour to get to the bridge across Canada into Windsor. It takes me about 6 to 6.5 hours to drive to Niagara Falls, which I've done many, many, many times in my life. So anyhow, it's not my business to go into details, but I will share with you things I know Artie shared with you as to why he is taking a little break from YouTube. 4 years ago, Artie was a truck driver, a long distance truck driver. I mean, he would drive from the east coast of Australia to the west coast of Australia. Well, actually the west coast to the east coast and back. So either way. And he was driving and a woman ran a red light in front of him and he had to slam on the brakes and prevent killing her. And to do that, he had to turn his rig and he went into, I probably get some things, he went into a pole or a tree, destroyed the front end of his car. He did clip her car, but his actions prevented him from killing her. But they set him up with 4 years now, over 4 years, 4.5 years of physical and even emotional issues. And even though he had a dash cam and had it recorded, they've tried to pin it on Artie. The dash cam proves the woman ran a red light, but for some reason, her people still keep trying to pin it on him. And it's been a long, hellish legal battle for him. And some of that legal battle is now coming to a head. It has to be, based on Australian laws, it has to be settled by the end of this year, by December 31st. So he is in the process of dealing with all the final legal issues. After 4.5 years of fighting, it has to be settled. So he has to focus on that. There's a lot of things going on, which I know and some other people know, but the rest of you, I'm sad to say, if Artie wants you to know, he'll let you know. Hey, Daz Faulkner, great to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. Hope you are well. But, yeah, you wish it was an open and shut case, Andy. So, but unfortunately, it never seems to work that way. It never, ever seems to work that way. Let's see. But anyhow, will I be able to do it? Window. Okay, if I flip this down and then pop the other one up, will it suddenly show up? Yes. Okay, good. I'll be able to do that. That's good. Okay, sorry. I am on StreamYard in case you didn't recognize the duck up here. And so whenever I'm filling in when Artie can't be here, I don't just run my live stream because I do my live stream on Friday. I do all my stuff, and I don't want to just do a repeat of my live stream. So I try to well, hi, Lamplake. So yeah, I'm just here. I will post a link and people can come up and chat as they want. I was going to share too a little bit. I don't know what stories I've shared in the past, but at least when I use StreamYard, it's a little easier to do it. As many of you know, my layout, which has been on hold for years because I really haven't worked on it much, because I am working on the Fowler car system. And in the past, I have videos on my channel, but when I've done the Wacky Weekend in place of Artie, I've talked about the Fowler car system. But it's real simple. The Fowler car system is a car with a little ski. And if I can get this to turn around, there is, if you can see that, there's a little magnet on the ski. And that runs along, in the Fowler car system, it runs along a wire that is not magnetic. Now, there's another company called Wiesmann that has a car system that also has a ski, that also has a magnet on top of it. But they use, instead of a wire, they use a magnetic tape, self-adhesive magnetic tape here. And but either way, the car runs along the wire. Now, Fowler also has track. Fowler has track that it uses. Now, many people have heard me talk about I can't get my Fowler car system going. That's not accurate. Technically, I have this laid down and my cars follow it. That's not a problem. Everything works. The thing is, when you're trying to do something special with Fowler, for example, Fowler sells a bus stop and you try to, where you can make the bus go into the bus stop, and then pull out again. And you can do that manually, where you just hit a button to activate the motor and the car turns. You can just leave the motor on, in which case every car would turn in. So all the cars in the traffic that run in your loop or however you do it. The nice thing about the wire is you can use the preset track for very basic roadways, or just like when you're laying flexi track cars, you can lay these out in intricate designs to make the cars do whatever maneuvers you want. But it's we use the word static when it's just the basic car running. We use the word static. And hang on, I want to check something here. Why are we going silly there? There we go. We use the word static, although static normally means not moving, but a static display is basically where the car is just moving and there's no action other than the car going in a circle. And those are great. But when I built Delmenhorst, and I could, no, all cars don't go the same speed. Hi, Andy, by the way. Great to have you here. No, the cars, because of their sizes and motors, do not necessarily go at the same speed. And there is no speed matching. You kind of have to pick and choose your battles. I think they try to get them to line up, but my experience is certain cars go faster and certain cars go slower. Now, I think, I shouldn't say I think, I remember seeing a channel a couple of years ago where a guy was showing you how you can adjust their speeds with the motors inside. I don't know if you can see the motor inside there. That there is something you can do to try to adjust their speeds. But in general, they're close, but they're not exact. So like when I run my cars, I've got one bus and two cars that can currently run my track. And so they usually, with the basic Fowler car system, you really are just planning on having a couple of cars moving. You're not planning on having a giant highway system going. You're either having one car going each direction, or you have the cars spaced out enough that if one starts to catch up, you can grab it and make it stop. So the basic system is easy enough. And what Wiesmann now has is where you can remote control the cars, like radio RC cars, but they sell you with a remote where you can make them do different things that way. But still, Wiesmann is now releasing motors and that for creating turnouts, because that's the issue. And I don't really have them, but this is the standard motor for turnouts. When you want a car to change lanes, you put one of these in the road and it's wired. And the thing is, you can just power wire it where it is permanently on. The default situation of these is on. So if you just wire this and plug it in, it's on. You have to put an on-off switch, like a button, to turn the power off. They're preset to be on. So if I take two wires and connect these to this, and these connect to your standard, like if you have your analog controller where you used to have like accessory plugs, you just plug this straight in. This goes into a 12 to 17 volt plug. Okay. Hey, Center Bounty, how are you? Well, thank you. This is not technically my usual Friday live stream. This is part of a show I'm just a co-host on, but the main host is off, but he wanted me to keep it going just so people don't forget poor Artie. But anyhow, you power these on. So they sell boxes, little decoder things you can plug these into where the default set is off. And then these cars, you attach a magnet to them. So you can see there's a little magnet glued on the bottom here. And this is where Fowler tells you, glue the magnet here. And then you have these things called reed sensors. And I don't think I have a reed sensor here. I might. But reed sensors are really small. And what they do is when the magnet comes in contact with the reed sensor turns this on. So as the car's coming over it, it creates the little pulse in here, the little electromagnetic pulse here that causes the car to turn and follow, because you'll have two little branches off, but it'll follow that. But anyhow, I've been trying to do the Fowler car system and get that. But that's the biggest holdup. I had it working in April of 2022. And then I tried to digital, which is instead of having to turn it off and on with a switch on a plug, I wanted to make it where I could just have it set up and just turn it on once from here and everything would run by itself and I didn't have to activate anything. And when I tried to make it all digital where I could control it with my computer or with just the switch over here, it all went haywire. And off and on for 3 years, I have been trying to figure out why it's not working anymore. I get parts of it working and not. But the reason I'm doing that is because I did want something that is, let's say, not a, my layout for anybody who follows my layout. And again, maybe I can switch cameras here. Again, I'm used to using OBS. So whenever I use StreamYard, I'm very unsure of what I'm doing. And I forget which camera's which. So it's not that camera, although you get the idea. Is it the Ninsing? No, it's not the Ninsing. Which one is that? Is that a Logitech? Or is it a Debs Tech? I can't tell. I can't remember. Okay, it's not that one. It's not that one. It's not that one. You're just getting the tour around. Yeah, I already tried that one, didn't I? It's not that one. This is where it sucks, ladies and gentlemen. The floor cam. I wonder if this cam will... Yeah, this one, at least I can do this one. There we go. I'll do this camera because this camera is kind of mobile. So anyhow, what you see over there, if I can get the cord. All right, but anyhow, that is my city of Delmenhorst. And over there is the bus depot. And because my layout is very flat, as you can see, this is flat, flat, flat. There's not many levels to it. Because it is just a flat layout, very uninspiring for people that have bridges and terrains and all kinds of cool scenery, I thought I would make up for the lack of the sexy layout with some action in another way. I thought I would try to, yes, trains on the floor. So yeah, it is weird to see my layout not in action at all. I really did. I would have done OBS if I was going to do that, but I was humming and hawing what to do. And then Joy said, well, why don't you talk about the Fowler car and the Delmenhorst? Because, hey, Chris, welcome in. Great to have you. Actually, Ray, I have, 18 cameras. I have 18 cameras attached to this, and that's not counting my cube camera, but it is, or my phone camera, which I can attach when I do OBS. I am up to 18 cameras if you count those two. But anyhow, yes, 18 cameras. I know it's ridiculous. But be that as it may, I'm just trying to remember. I thought that, is it not reading that one? Is that one? Because the DB Tech camera is not on. Excuse me a second. Maybe I'll turn that one on. Here. So anyhow, there we go. Okay. Anyhow, so the thing is, I am trying to create the city of Delmenhorst, Germany. Delmenhorst is an actual city in Germany. And I lived in Delmenhorst every June from 2003 to 2016. So 14 years I spent the month of June in Delmenhorst. So basically it adds up to a year and 2 months of my life that I lived in Delmenhorst. But it was every June. And Joyce, I would take students over there and we'd live for the month of June in Delmenhorst as part of an exchange program. But anyhow, because my layout is relatively flat, I thought the Fowler car system would be a cool, it would be a very cool bit of eye candy to make up for the trains just running in circles, because I don't have anything on my layout automated. I don't want to do automated. I'm not opposed to people who do it. You know, I'm not saying automation's bad. It's just, it's not something I wanted to do. I like manual control in some things. So when I'm running trains, if I decide to run trains, I can, if I want them to stop, I can make them stop. Otherwise, I can just let them go and do their thing. You need to know my secret for extra cameras. There's no secret. It starts with, excuse me a second. There you go. Come on, get going. I know you're on the... Yeah, I'll maybe get a train moving and you'll see it just the two sides. I can close this down and that way you can see it both ways. And let me put a freighter in motion too. At least you'll see something passing in the background. But there you go. But anyway, hey, John from Mystic Railroad, how are you? The secret to many cameras is this. First of all, you got to use a platform like OBS. With StreamYard, you have to pay their highest level to really start adding cameras. And even then, you can't. Although there is a way you could take OBS and import it into StreamYard and then have the best of both worlds, so to speak. But the number one thing is my computer is not your average store-bought computer. The computer I have is, anybody who knows my channel knows I call it the supercomputer. When I retired in June of 2022, I got a nice retirement bonus. And I bought a bunch of trains with that bonus. But I also took some of that money and I went to a guy that builds computers and told him, this is what I do and this is what I want. So the biggest thing is have a very strong Pentium. Like I'm running everything now on an i9. The lowest I would recommend to have as many cameras as I do is i7, but I'm running i9. And then he had to find the right motherboards, but it's to have as many independent USB ports as possible. And by independent, what I mean is, like when you have a laptop, like if you could see this laptop here, now you're not going to see it with my shaky hand. I have 2 USB ports here, but they're not independent. They share. Sorry about this, everybody, but the shaky hands are bad. Now I have i9 with I think 64 gigabytes SDRAM or whatever one it is. I'm not an IT guy anymore. I mean, my IT days are back in the 80s which was a totally different world. When you manually programmed function 10, coding cobalt. But anyhow, these share. When they go to the motherboard, they attach at the same point. And what happens is if you attach 2 cameras there, your computer will power both cameras, but when you try to use them, it can't always tell which camera is which. Now, in the old days, you could get around that by going in and renaming your cameras. Nowadays, to rename your cameras is a lot trickier to go into your system and rename your cameras. But they share a port. And on a laptop, you might be able to get 5 or 6 USB if you use, for example, a powered multi-port like you see right there. But again, these all go into one port. So if you have 3 cameras here and they're the 3 same brand of cameras, your computer it knows it's getting the signal. It's powering all 3 cameras. And if you just use camera on the computer, it will activate all 3. It'll just bounce through. But when you're trying to use OBS, where OBS has to read what's coming in off the computer, OBS doesn't know which camera. They conflict. So OBS, sometimes it's kind of hit and miss as to can you find it and get it to work. But a lot of times these cameras are coming through the same port address. And so you'll get 1 to work, but not 2 of them to work. Or you'll get 2 to work, but not 3. There'll always be 1 that's in conflict. So you need independent USB ports where each one has a separate point and address on the motherboard. So this computer has 12 separate USB ports. show you some choo-choos. Well, again, I can't do my multicam. I can't quite do my multicam the way I normally do, where I would bounce through it. I wonder if I could cheat this way. It'd be weird, but yeah, it'd be too weird. I don't think it would work. But I'll try something. But anyhow, so I can attach up to 12 cameras to my computer. Now, mind you, I also have to have USB ports for my keyboard and anything else that needs a USB port. So I can do 12, although I actually have 10 because I have one USB port for the dongle for my mouse and keyboard, and then another USB port for a hard drive I have installed. But then I have 2 multi-taps installed. Plus, I have 2 PCI multi USB port expansion cards, self-powered expansion cards attached. So that allows me to add more cameras. Unfortunately, with those multi ones, I can usually only add about 2 cameras. Even if it has 5 slots, my computer will read all 5 of the slots, but OBS will only read 1 or 2 of the cameras plugged into it. So some of that's OBS because it's reading the same address, so it doesn't know what camera. And the funny thing is, it's never consistent. If I take, if I have the same card, the same expansion card in a PCI Express slot with 5 USB-C ports or 5 USB ports, when you start up your camera, your computer reads all these USB things, but it reads them in different orders. So it's whichever camera the USB port reads first, it assigns to the address from that PCI Express slot. So a lot of that. Hey, did I see Dwight Curley is here? Yeah, my thing is, my knowledge of anything is more from broadcast. Setting up a home entertainment system, microphone and speakers and stereo and plug-in. When it comes to computer stuff, I used to be into the 90s. I consider myself competent where, the first couple of computers I had were store-bought ones that I then personally Frankensteined and upgraded to work better. But even though computers today are more plug and play, I don't have a freaking clue on computers. I'm lost with, I understand the basics, but when it comes to programming and tech and, I still use some of the old terms like, port address and things like that, which I don't even know. So like with a laptop, with any laptop, depending on how many USB ports you have, and are you doing USB 2 or USB-C, depending on which ones you have, when I started doing my live stream, I was on a laptop. I was on a gaming laptop, and I was able to get up to, I think, 6 cameras, and then the computer said no more. But also a good video graphics card is vital. For example, if you have a laptop computer, most times your USB ports are just sent to the motherboard, whereas on my computer, they go through the graphics card. And I have a high-end graphics card in this computer. So it takes the stress off of the CPU. The GPU handles it all, not the CPU. Understand, Anthony. Yeah, well, every now and then I get up in the morning when Andy is doing his live stream, or I come into the house and I check the phone because, oh yeah, Andy's on. Although some Sundays I sleep in till 8 o'clock and wake up and I come on the phone, and you can always tell when I'm not on the phone or when I'm on the phone, because normally I will bold print everybody's name. I'll hashtag them. I'll do the @ when I say hello so that they can see I said hello to them. And if I'm on the phone, you can't do it. So I'll just say like, hi, Anthony. Hi, Andy. And just use their basic name. Yeah, a separate GPU is crucial. And so, yeah, it's definitely it's a combination of having, a desktop computer is better than a laptop computer if you want to add cameras. But again, if you only want to do like Ray's talking about 4, a laptop will do you fine. The thing is, most laptops tend to have only 3 USB ports. Now, my newest laptop has 3 USB 2 or what they've restructured the numbering on them. I used to call them USB 3. Now they're called USB 2. But USB 3, 3.1, 3.2, and then they did 3.3, and they're all color coded: the blue, the red, and the purple, even turquoise. And now all of a sudden those are called USB 2s. And then you have USB-C, which is the all-purpose, fits everything, which why didn't they start that way? But be that as it may, so it has 2 USB-C and 3 USB, what I call USB 3.0 ports on it. So I could attach 5 different cameras just straight to the computer that way, although then I couldn't use my mouse. So be that as it may, it starts with, I don't need as many cameras as I have. It's just an addiction I have. I love audio video tech. And the channel that inspired me to do it was a British channel, Jason from Barnabas Junction. He started doing 3 cameras on his live feed, and I thought that was really cool because his trains are running. He's got a camera there, a camera here, and a camera there, and then sometimes a 4th camera, or using his phone to have his face on camera when he wanted to talk. And I just thought that was cool. So I went out and got a couple of cameras. Then I got a couple of more. And then I thought, well, it'd be cool if I had a camera on this angle. Oh, it would be cool if I had a camera on this angle. So, if you look at this phone here, I mean, you can see right back here, 2 cameras. 2 cameras. Back here, that's actually 1 camera. There's another camera on a pedestal there, but that's one of the cameras I use to make my videos for my first impression videos. Yeah, HDMI cameras, because right now I have 2 HDMI ports and 2 the new version of DVI ports on the supercomputer. So I could plug a couple of really heavy duty like HDMI cameras in and add them to my OBS as well. But the thing is, even OBS can get overwhelmed. There are only so many cameras you can start plugging into OBS before even OBS. For example, that camera that I was using a little bit ago, when it worked fine here. It worked fine here, but when I put it in OBS, it's fighting with another camera in OBS because it's sharing a port. See, the computer doesn't care. The computer can distinguish between the 2 in this case, but OBS can't distinguish because OBS is merely reading the port address of the camera, where OBS can distinguish between, or OBS can't distinguish, but your motherboard can. Because they're coming through the same address, but they're 2 different cameras at 2 different frequencies. So your computer can distinguish it, but OBS can only read the port address. So the 1 camera flickers because OBS has them fighting with each other. Like, you're the same camera, or I'm splitting and it's just goofy. And I'm not a tech person to explain it that way. But yeah, I've been trying to recreate the city of Delmenhorst, as well as its main hub city, which is Bremen, or further up the road, Hanover. So I did not pull up a map of Germany, but I can do so rather quickly here. Let me try this real quick. really wish I'd quit. That's one. That's the one I want. And just bear with me a couple of minutes because I am looking for something. Oh, you're just going to bounce around on me like that, aren't you? There we go. All right, let me give you kind of a map of a rough area I'm doing here. So let's do present, share screen, and there it is. All right, so here is a map of Germany. You know, if I zoom it out, Germany. And I did my exchange program. Here's Bremen. Here's Hamburg up here. Hamburg, the second largest city in Germany now. It passed Munich. It was the third largest, but in the last couple of years, it's passed Munich. Berlin's the biggest, 3.5, 3.6 million. And then Hamburg is now about 1.6 million, and Munich is 1.5 million. They're very close. And then the only other city in Germany that's over 1 million is down here, the city Köln, which you guys all know as Cologne. But anyhow, if you look at this map, here's Bremen, and about 9 miles west of Bremen is a little town. Well, I shouldn't say little, about 80,000 people, called Delmenhorst. And Delmenhorst is where I did this exchange program with my students and where I lived. And anytime I go to Germany, I go back at least for part of a day to visit and potentially see. Unfortunately, sadly, the majority of people that I would go to Delmenhorst to see, that I would go to visit, have died. My best friends that lived in Delmenhorst have also passed away. In the last few years, I have lost way too many people I considered true great friends. That's why, I keep an eye on Artie, because I don't need to do that. But anyhow, so my layout really models roughly just this 9-mile gap from Delmenhorst to Bremen. That's what my layout is supposed to represent. However, a little bit south and southeast of Bremen is Hanover. Hanover is the main junction. It's the main east-west and north-south junction of both the highway system, but more importantly, the rail system. Hanover's a town of about 400,000 people. Hey, Bonsville, how are you? Yes, although it's not pink anymore. But it wasn't really pink, but for a while the paint on it faded, because originally it was a brick red castle, and then they covered it over with like a stucco, and they painted the stucco yellow. In the Renaissance era, they painted it yellow, and the red brick color for some reason kind of bled through, and it gave off a pinkish hue. They have since repainted it, so it isn't quite pink anymore. The old Ducal Palace. I actually met the Duke of Oldenburg once. Now, he's called the Duke of Oldenburg, but that's purely, it has no authority. He just happens to be the direct male descendant of the original ruling Dukes of Oldenburg, but the Dukes of Oldenburg lost their power in the 1800s, and when they were taken over by Prussia. But anyhow, I digress, like I always do. But anyhow, so if you go south of Bremen, almost all traffic from Bremen, it doesn't go east across Germany. It goes south to Hanover, and then it goes across east, because Hanover is the major junction in the north where all north-south traffic goes through and all main east-west traffic goes through. And it also happens to be that the Hanover train station and the Bremen train station look a lot alike. So I always referred to that one side of my layout as the Bremen/Hanover station. I could probably, sometimes they say extra camera, but yeah, you have to pay because I don't do the pay. Did I see Eric's here? Hi, Eric. How are you? Great to have you here. But anyhow, so Hanover can also be a main hub. The thing is, this whole area from Delmenhorst to Bremen, from Oldenburg all the way across and down to Hanover and even Braunschweig is flat. There are hills, but it's not hilly. There's just random hills here and there, but it's not really very hilly. It's like Northwest Ohio, which is probably why I feel at home in that region of Germany, because it's flat. And where I live in Northwest Ohio, it's flat. The only mountains we have are when women lay down and sunbathe or big guys lay down to sunbathe. Those are the only hills we have. Well, hi, Sparky. How are you? So that is how I've represented, what little I've built. Now, the thing is, if you go to Delmenhorst, and I got some pictures here, so I'm going to close that down and stop sharing this screen. And then if I present the other picture, it'll take me a minute to find it, but bear with me. And it might be faster the other way. And where do I have a really good picture of it? I'm just looking at here because I wound up not really going into. I'll start with this picture and then try to find a few that really work. Okay, that picture works. So I'm going to share screen again. So bear with me. A window. All right. So this is a platform. This is a platform at Delmenhorst Station. There's 2 platforms, but there's 3 lines. So to your left on the picture, that is platform 1, or as we say in German, Gleis 1. That is platform 1. And then platform 2 and 3 are to the right of the picture, where the picture is taken from. So this is line 2. This is line 2, and then line 3 is just off camera, although you can see it weaving back in. So Delmenhorst has 3 lines coming into it. But if you get a mile on either side of Delmenhorst, 2 of the lines narrow down to 1. So things are timed because all the lines in Delmenhorst go east-west. But basically, one is always incoming west to east. The other one is always east to west. And then the third line is bypass traffic or during rush hour, let's say, traffic going both ways. It's all how it's regulated. Summer arrived before the end of winter. I heard it got hot down there. Hi, Charlie. Great to have you here. So, in reality, my 3 lines that I run, and if I can find the right camera, it's a Deb's Tech camera. I got to remember that one. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about that. I forgot I had opened OBS, which blocks all my cameras from working. Yeah, I usually do too, but you usually have to have a separate address, and my phone's on the same address. But I'm just trying to think the best way I can pull this up. But I'm going to just change cameras here. I should have just pulled my OBS into it. Nope, that's not the Deb's Tech, but I know it's a Deb's Tech, so I just got to keep going through them all until I find the right one. There it is. So this is my actual Dumb and Horse station, and you can see it's got the 3 lines going into it. But in reality, the 3 lines narrow down to 2 lines, about a mile on either side of Dumb and Horse. I have the 3 lines going all the way around. And then when they get to Bremen, no, probably not that one. Yeah, I can use that one. So when they get over here to Bremen, this is the Bremen-Hanover side, as I call it. Well, Bremen has 17 lines that comes into it. Or I'm sorry, Bremen has 13 lines. Hanover has 17 lines that come into it because it's getting traffic from all over. Now, a city like Munich, that is a bigger city and gets a lot more traffic than even Hanover, it has 32 platforms. But Bremen has, Bremen has 13 and Hanover has 17 different platform lines. Come on, don't be silly. Anyhow. So anyhow, when you have the 3 lines going into Bremen, that's why my station is truly accurate. But the flip side is I'm not prototypical. I maintain the 3 lines, but it doesn't matter because when I run trains to the Bremen side, I only have 6 lines going into Bremen, where in reality, 17 lines would, or 13 lines would go into Bremen, or if it's Hanover, it would be 17 lines. Yeah, now, Charlie, I've got 16 cameras I can rotate through, but I am using the free version of StreamYard, so it limits what I'm allowed to do. I should have just imported my OBS into it, but I didn't. I'm not sure why it's doing it that way. But yeah, so that's a little better. So when I scratch built it, I really was trying to make this as realistic as possible. And Delmenhorst is not a pretty station. It's a very boring station. It's a town that's in economic decline. So I might have the only Delmenhorst station model in the world. I can't swear to it. But it's a station that even guys that do trains in Delmenhorst don't do Delmenhorst. All right, James, take care. Have a safe trip tomorrow. You slept that. So I am a cross between wanting to be, I want some things to be right. So when I built Delmenhorst Station, like these signs there, I have those signs hanging in my station. I just, let me see if I could do that with my phone, and then I'll take my phone over there and see if I can work it out. I'm going to post the address here. I have no idea what I just did. Oh, I just shut it off. That's what I did. Okay. If I posted my phone, but I wanted that picture back up, darn it. So let's try to do it again. Oh, did I accidentally close the whole thing down? Yep, because I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Okay, so there it is again. So if I could, maybe I will just post. This might be the wrong one to post, but that way maybe I can use my phone to join in, and then I'll take my phone mobile. Or not. Why aren't you reading it? Yeah, you just can't win. I wanted to show you guys something. Huh. Weird. It's not even showing that I'm live here, and that's in my own YouTube. Ah, stupid. Well, maybe I'll just send myself the invite. Yeah, I'll just have to send the invite that way. Well, I've already got it there, so let's go to Facebook. Let's go to me. Oh, well. this is not working. I wasn't prepared to do all this. Yeah, that's what I get. Everybody's going to miss Artie. But let me see who just came in. MTR. Oh, Model Train Reviews. Welcome in. Let's see. Can I just... I should be able to message myself, but it's not going to let me. Well, that's just stupid. Oh, well. So anyway, I wanted to give you a close-up of the station. I did have the one camera on it, so maybe I can try to get that camera and show you. So bear with me while I do that. So settings. Which one was it? Yeah, it's that one. But as you can see a little bit here, with the train coming through, come on, there we go. I don't know how well you're going to see this, but I have all the signs up, just like in that one picture. I wonder if I could set this here in a way that it will show up without, come on, quit being, sorry guys. But as you can see, I even have, I think you can see that. I have those signs up. All the signboards up. Even the little section line signs here. All right, so as I was trying to show you with this camera, I did everything. So those little signs and everything, just like what's on here, because I wanted it to be as accurate as possible. I'm recreating Delmenhorst, and anything else in my layout does not have to be accurate. But even down to that sign that you see on the stairways down, I can't get the camera in tight enough, and it's dark in there right now. You wouldn't see it, but even that sign there is on my layout. Yeah, I should be able to just send the link via my own Facebook, but it's not letting me. I can message myself on Messenger on my phone, but on my computer, they'd be like, why would you want to message yourself? And I don't have Safari, so that wouldn't matter anyhow. Here, I'll just do it as a post. Now let's see if I can get my phone to do it. Okay. So, there we go.
Whoops.
All right. As soon as I move my phone, it all went haywire. I give up. I tried to do something different and cool. So that's what I get for not being prepared. It's just sort of a last second idea when Artie asked me to do it. Yeah, the problem is getting the link on my phone. Since the link is on my computer, Charlie, I'd have to manually type it in, which was more than I wanted to do. But anyhow, so yeah, I'm trying to create that Dumb and Horse world, and the Fowler car and the bus system is very important because that's the one thing I thought would be cool as visual candy, especially during live streams, to watch the buses go in, pull up at the bus stop, stop, pull out again, go into traffic, circle around again, and then come back in. I just thought that would be sort of a cool bit of eye candy. Charlie, I know how to do it, okay? I do know how to do it. It's just getting things to coordinate. I muted the phone. I muted the camera. I've done it before. It's just I'm trying to do it at last second here, and things are not cooperating. So it was just a last second decision that I was going to take over today, and I didn't prepare, and I was trying to do things on the fly, and some things aren't cooperating right away. That's how things work in the tech world. But anyhow, it is 9 o'clock. I only wanted to go an hour tonight anyhow, so I apologize that I offered nothing of value to the world today. But again, I'm used to OBS. I don't use StreamYard except when I'm working with Artie, and normally I'm just Artie's sidekick and let Artie dictate where the show is going to go. So anyhow, I want to thank those of you guys that come in and hung out for an hour, but I'm going to call it a night because I really only wanted to go an hour today. I will try to have something better prepared and ready to go next week, or I'll do it through OBS and not worry about it. But I was hoping I would get some people to come up on screen and chat like Randall, but he's probably working. But anyhow, I will be back at my regular time on Friday with my usual live stream. And again, I don't know when Artie's coming back. We're just trying to keep this time slot going. And I'll have a little bit more time this week, hopefully, to prepare something a little better or move my camera so that I can really get into position, or like I said, set the phone up ahead of time and send the invite rather than, because of course on the phone you do StreamYard or Streamlab technically. But if you go through Google, you can get the Streamlab. But be that as it may, I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Again, I apologize that I didn't have things as organized as I would have liked, but it was sort of a last second decision. And hopefully next week I'll be better, and hopefully Artie will be back sooner rather than later. So until then, I'm going to say good night, everybody. And Artie, take care of yourself. Oh, by the way, in Australia, it is Father's Day. It is Father's Day. And in honor of Father's Day, Kendra the kangaroo would like to say something for Artie. Where's the child support, you bastard? Little Joey needs his money. And on that note, good night, everybody.